Are you a company that's having some issues and you can't quite figure out why? Well, maybe you hired the wrong candidate for the position. I'm joined by recruiter guy Bill Humbert to give us some more information on how hiring the wrong candidate can impact your business. Good morning, Bill.
Good morning, Maddie. How are you?
I'm so wonderful because I love the opportunity to learn so much from you as an incredible recruiter guy who's been doing this for quite some time.
Yes, I have. And today we're going to talk about how much does a poor hire cost your company? And when you think about it, every single day some company hires the wrong person to fill one of their openings. And what possibly could go wrong when you hire the wrong candidate? Generally, potential clients call me when they've just given up on their sources of candidates.
Now, it's really important that people take the time to find the right candidate. So, when you hire someone, what's the best way to make sure you're getting a quality candidate?
The best way is to, first of all, train their managers how to effectively interview. If they haven't been trained how to effectively interview, they certainly have not been trained how to select the best quality candidate and best qualified candidate and the best cultural fit for the company.
Now, it's really important that you get those hiring managers nice and trained up, and you've got a great step process to do so.
I do. I first of all, I have 8 different ways I can structure a candidate interview. And some of those ways are ways that nobody, well, there are obviously people who know, but very few people know the technique and how to pull it off. And sometimes those types of questions will have the candidate going down a path they probably shouldn't be. And that gives you the opportunity to learn a lot more about their experience than they originally were planning to let you know.
And do you have any recommendations for the audience to find that perfect cultural fit to hire that new employee?
There is one way, and every time I talk to a chief operating officer, uh, I I ask them when they say, "Well, I'm having a problem finding the right cultural fit," and I ask them, "So, what questions do you ask during an reference check?" And they go, "We can't do reference checks. We might get sued." Well, I've got a news flash. A company can get sued for every single thing it does. Are you going to stop selling your services or your product simply because you might be able to get sued? Probably not. You're going to go out of business. If you ask the right reference check questions, you'll find the information you need to know whether that person is a qualified candidate for your culture and your company.
Now, there's so many reference check questions that could be frowned upon. Can you give us some of the good ones that people should use if they are making those reference checks?
Absolutely. And you talked about the frowned upon one. Here's the basic fundamental point that you need to understand. Just like a candidate interview, a reference check can only ask the questions about that person's professional life. You may not ask any personal questions. So, like, how are you going to get to work? Don't ask that question. How are you going to handle the kids? Don't ask that question. So, questions can be ones like, while you're working, what frustrates you? Or what frustrates Maddie or Bill? And if the answer is, well, he really gets frustrated when somebody's micromanaging him. Well, if that manager is a micromanager, bam, that's a bad fit for that group. And so it's really important to ask those kinds of questions, and those kinds of questions will help a company determine whether that person is a good cultural fit for that group or not.
Which I think these are all important aspects that maybe not everyone thinks about. Now, if you're going through a job description and it says you have to have reliable transportation, but your mode of transportation is the bus, do you think that hurts or helps the candidate in the situation?
Well, here's the point that I think is important. The person has to have a way to get to and from work. It can be Uber. I've had people tell me confidentially that they're going to use Uber to go back and forth to work, and it will save them a lot of money. And that, hey, if that works, great. Could be a bus. It doesn't matter. So a company really can't ask that question. That's something that the candidate has to determine before they apply. And if when they apply, they discover they can't get somewhere at a particular time, it's time for them to say, you know what, I can't do it.
Now, how can companies reach out to you to get more information on the talent attraction consulting that you offer?
It's very easy. I am recruiterguy.com, and just click on the red banner on my homepage above the fold, Speak with Bill, and that puts you into my calendar and pick a time that's convenient for you. And I'd be happy and love to chat with you about your situation and how I may be able to help.
Bill, we want to thank you for always giving us such wonderful information, taking the time to chat with us, and giving us all of these great tips and tricks, not only to improve ourselves, but to improve our businesses as well.
Thanks, Maddie. Yeah, it's great to be here. I enjoy doing this.
Make sure that you check out Bill Humbert, the recruiter guy, because he's got solutions for all of your hiring or maybe job searching problems. And he's got so many great tips and tricks and a fabulous book that's out that I'm sure you can find on his website. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we've got more of the show, so stay tuned.